Graham again, looking at process improvements. The first clip, we're going to particularly focus on utilization and pooling strategies here. And so we ran the current workflow, discovered that utilization on the anesthesiologist is very high. Surgeons are also above the 50% threshold. You'll come in and decide what those thresholds are, and then revisit all of this analysis, and then decide whether or not you need process adjustments across the board. So it's conceivable that with your revised red lines for the utilization for the burnout, that the anesthesiologists are maybe not okay, surgeons may be okay, but do some research, make sure you've got some justification for those new red lines. But so I'm going to stick with the 50% red lines and just see what we can do. So the first thought is maybe we just going to add an anesthesiologist in each track. Let's go ahead and do that and just see where we are. Go here and make this 2 in each case. Just go ahead and run. So I'm going to delete this log. When you get that error, most likely it's just a log file. I'll just right click on that and delete the log. Run it again. And I'm just going to run it fast. So I'm trying to get 6 surgeries in here. I might want to go to 7. See, I'm actually providing, I'm scheduling 6 surgeons here. So actually, I've got too few patients scheduled. I'm probably going to kick that up because I do have some extra capacity now. But the bottom line here is that my anesthesiologists are running at 54 to 57%, that range. The surgeons are way up now, about 80%, 77 to 80%. So they're out of sync here. So I think what the next step is going to be is I'm going to kick up the number of surgeries maybe to 7, and I'm going to add a surgeon in each track. Actually, let's try and try a pooled, maybe try 2 PAs now. And see, the anesthesiologist is still over. So maybe I'll add somebody in the CRNA pool. I'll add 2 PAs as the next play. So I'm really sort of just trying to wing this kind of ad hoc process improvement proposals that are popping up. But you could argue that maybe this is something like trying to manage my bottlenecks, theory of constraint style. You'd want to do something more sort of systematic than this. What I haven't entertained yet is adding any ORs, and I'm not sure how that's going to play. But you can see my revenue, my flow times here, 141, 148, and making good money, right? 52 million in revenues, 17 million patient penalty. So it's definitely good money. Haven't factored the salaries yet. Got to pay that 393 salary 4 times here. And then the surgeons, of course, are in the 600s. So I did add salary, did add to payroll, but really good money. So it's not clear you want to add the extra OR. This is all part of sort of the degrees of freedom of the problem. So let's go back, and I probably should have run that twice for you just to confirm. Let's in fact run it twice just to make sure that we're not jumping the gun. Again, each run does contain information, but shouldn't be decisive. So we'll run that again. So there it is, 150, 166. The money now is about 30 million roughly. So it was better. Here I got 5 and 6, not 6 and 6. And you can see the anesthesiologists are in the 57 to 60 range. Surgeons are in the 73 to 77 range. Try it one more time just to confirm that. In fact, we're getting those kinds of results. So the surgeons again in the 70s, anesthesiologists 60 to 62 or so. Registrars and the EVS are just fine. Okay, so I do want to kick up the surgery count because that is a big revenue piece. Let's do that. So I'm going to try putting in 7 surgeries here. And we said we're going to add a CRNA. See if that takes them down to 50. And we'll try maybe two PAs. How's that? And run this. The PA is coming at about 200 on salary. Again, we need to delete that log file. Six and six, 33 million plus. And anesthesiologist is still above 50. The surgeon is fine. This one's not. Um, so I have two anesthesiologists in each track, and I'm still above. So maybe I need another CNA. Notice the CNA pool didn't get used. So although I have two CNAs, it didn't get used. So maybe I'm going to add a third. I'm thinking I'm going to do is I'm going to try adding an extra OR, add an extra anesthesiologist, and maybe dedicated surgeons per track instead of the PA pool. What is utilization of the PA pool? Okay, so we have to make sort of like do a systematic analysis here. A lot of moving parts, obviously. I'm just demonstrating really how to implement these changes, but you need to sort of unpack the scenario so that as you sort of systematically move toward a recommended solution that you can sort of can justify your thought process. So let's add an extra. Actually, I'm going to add two ORs to the OR pool. We're going to leave those dedicated. Actually, we could just put them all in the pool. How's that? Ultimate flexibility here. Put all six ORs in the OR pool. And I did say I want dedicated surgeons. So now I have these three ORs. I'm going to leave the PAs at 2. I'm going to take the CRNAs down to 0, but I am going to add dedicated anesthesiologists, one in each track. Okay, so I'm kicking up payroll substantially here, but maybe we're going to get compensated in the through the third OR for the extra two ORs rather. Okay, let's run this to completion. 52.8, getting 6 surgeries. I did try and launch 7 in here. So despite the extra OR, the OR pool is 53% utilized, so it's not using, okay, so it's only 53% utilized. Anesthesiologists are fine now. They're in their 30s. So that's compliant. Surgeons are compliant. But I'm making $30 million, but I do have the extra salaries to pay. Right. I think we've got an idea that how to change these things. Uh, the PA pool is not utilized. These things are just barely 49. So these are just recent. This is recent data that's being used to estimate these percentages here. The real analysis across the entire simulation is shown here, 37 and 41%. So all utilizations would be fine here. This would be a candidate solution. I think I would want to take down the scheduled surgeries to 7. Flow times, we're looking at 138, 140, a little bit more than 2.25 hours, 2 hours 20. Okay, so those are some process improvements looking at pooling and utilization. In the next clip, we're going to consider psychology matters and variance reduction.